We are here with Democratic candidate for governor, Jack Markell, who was re-elected for a third term as state treasurer in November 2006 with an overwhelming 70% of the vote. That's a lot. And he attracted more votes than any other Democrat in the ballot in Delaware in 1998, 2002, 2006. We welcome Mr. Jack Markell to our program today as he runs for governor. Hi, Jack.
How you doing?
Thanks for coming out here.
Thanks for having me.
And Michael's here, too. He's got some questions for, you want us to call you Jack, is that?
Please do.
All right, Jack, I've got a lot of questions, but the first one, and some of these are coming from some of our viewers, so I'm going to read them. You have a lot of great plans that we've been reading about in the paper and hearing about, but what have you done as treasurer, and how does that relate to what you will do as governor if you are so elected?
Well, I've really focused most of my time as treasurer on things that make a difference in the lives of real people, and that's what I think government is supposed to be about. And probably the programs that I'm most proud of, one is the Delaware Money School, which we set up 9 years ago. This year, the Delaware Money School offers more than 500 free classes. They're on a wide variety of financial topics, everything from getting out of debt to beginning investing to preparing for retirement. The estimate is that more than 10,000 students will have attended in 2008 alone. So it's really helps people stretch their paychecks further. So it's been a great program. Yeah. Similar to that, but a little bit different, is the Earned Income Tax Credit campaign, which we just finished our 7th campaign, and that was me partnering with Nehemiah Gateway Community Development Corporation along with the folks at Shiloh Baptist Church. And that program is great because what it does is it puts money from the federal government back into the pockets of working people. It's money that they're absolutely entitled to, but many people don't know about it. So this past year, we had 400 volunteers. They did tax preparation for more than 14,000 people, and they brought more than $18 million into the pockets of these working Delawareans. So this is really a testament to the wonderful volunteers that we have statewide and to the great work of Nehemiah Gateway and Shiloh Baptist Church. This program is really the brainchild of Reverend Clifford Johnson at Shiloh, along with Mary DuPont, who's the executive director at Nehemiah Gateway, and I've been very proud to head up this campaign all 7 years. Wow, that's a lot, and I'm sure there's more you could tell us about. Unfortunately, we're down to 10 minutes, so I'm going to keep you short, but that's a lot. Yeah. The next question I have is, if elected governor, how would you address the multitude of problems within the Delaware prison system as well as the problems in the Delaware criminal justice system? Well, it's interesting. I just, less than 2 weeks ago, I went over to Gander Hill, now the Howard Young facility, and I took a tour of the facility. I went, actually, it was the 20th anniversary for the KEY program. And I was inspired. Some of the graduates, some of the alumni of the KEY program came and spoke to the current inmates, and they talked about the progress that they had made since they've gotten out of prison. And it was frankly really amazing to see what these people have achieved. And we have got to remember that 97% of the people who are in prison are coming out. And we've got to do a better job, I think, really from the moment that somebody's incarcerated. We have got to start planning for their release. What kinds of skills are they going to need on the outside? Where are they going to live? What kinds of services? We've got 18,000 people in this state who need alcohol treatment, drug treatment, and who aren't getting it because the resources aren't there. So I have proposed, as part of my campaign for governor, to put significantly more resources into treatment. So that's a big deal. But, you know, it was incredible being at the Young facility. That building was designed for 600 inmates. And the day that I was there were 1,760.
Wow.
So I went to the infirmary. There's obviously been a lot of publicity recently about problems with the health care system in the prison. Right. And cells in the infirmary that were designed for one person had 3 mattresses as well as one additional person sleeping on the floor. Right. Very difficult. And as I said this week, not only should we get rid of the contractor, the health care contractor, but I think it goes beyond that. I really think it's a cultural issue, and it's an attitude. It's about setting goals and then holding people accountable and being relentlessly focused on holding people accountable. Certainly people who commit a crime, when they're sentenced to prison, they ought to do their time, but we also have an obligation to make sure people are treated right. People aren't supposed to die in prison because of poor health care.
Jack, sounds like you're on top of a lot of things. There's a lot of issues, and we're going as quickly as we can with our time. We have our residential artist here who has a question about the arts, which are very important here in Delaware also. Michael, you have a question?
Yes, I do. Jack, as he told me to call him, I wasn't sure. But as we were talking about earlier before, I understand that you are passionate in your support of the arts. And in reading your blog, which I did, I read as much as I could.
He does his own work.
And one thing that stood out for me was an entry from when you were speaking at the Federal Street Gallery and Espresso Bar in Milton, Delaware, which is one of my fishing holes. But you mentioned about you wanted to ensure a vibrant cultural legacy. And as I was talking to you before, one of my concerns as an artist is access to opportunity. And especially, I've been an artist my whole life, and I've been a lifelong resident of Delaware. And not saying that I'm the world's greatest, but I think I have adequate skills to qualify for certain things. And I'm finding it very hard to gain access to opportunity. And I'm concerned about prospects for people of color in the scheme of things, because there may be some social or cultural factors that could be an obstacle. And I know that you have a lot of sensitivity to a diverse community. Can you address that concern for me?
Sure, and I do. And first of all, I think you're actually very talented. You gave me off air in the green room the copy of the book on Delaware outdoors, and you did the covers. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
Let me tell you why I think this is such a big deal.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, when I released my arts plan, I started off by quoting a young man from the Ferris School, who said that if it were not for this particular arts program he was involved with, he really doesn't know that he would have made it on the outside. This was his way out. Now, that's one example.
Yep.
But it's not it's certainly, and it's sort of one approach. I mean, I really do think that for some kids who can get in touch with that ability, who may not have really realized they had it before, it is a way out. It can be an escape, and it can be something they can work on. But beyond that, when I look at places, for last year I was invited to do a poetry reading over at the Christina Cultural Arts Center.
Oh, yeah.
It was a Friday night, and I do a little poetry myself. Now, I'm not very good, but Ray Jones Avery invited me to come down, and I got to do that with a number of other people who were doing the same thing. And it's just a part of our community that you don't realize necessarily is there, but it's so important in the following way.
Sure.
When we think about the kinds of jobs we want to create in the state, when we think about the kinds of people we want to have here, generally these are people who do want to have those kinds of outlets, whether it's theater, whether it's fine art, whether it's vocal. You've got Mr. Spencer coming on. He has a saxophone out and ready in the green room. So whether it's musical. It just makes us so much richer. And I think those opportunities have got to be extended across the board. And that's why, I specifically mentioned Christina Cultural Arts Center, which I think just does an amazing job with kids, with adults, in the community, and really giving so many people an outlet that they might not otherwise have. So I think it's great for our, and by the way, the other thing is, there's research that says kids who do the arts, kids who do music, they will also do better in their academic subjects.
All right.
So this is not just about the art.